Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about statistics. Okay. You may come across this word many times. Okay. But so many of us don't know what actually it is. Okay. You may think statistics is nothing but finding mean, median, or mode, etc. Okay, but the word statistics is much more than only this. Okay, what it is? Let us see what it comprises of. Okay, see here, statistics. It is one of the branch of mathematics. What it is? It is a branch of mathematics which it deals with data. What? It deals with the data. That is nothing but mainly it deals with collection, organization, and interpretation. What to call it as? Interpretation of data or analyzation of data. Okay. You know what is data here? In general, a data is nothing but numerical facts. Okay, numerical facts which are collected from the source. Source is nothing but it may be anything. Okay, if I want to study about students, the data of the students marks, whatever it may be, it will become data there. Okay, now if you see these days, hot topic it is corona, right? In order to study about corona, we are collecting many information about corona, right? Those information also we call it as data, like how many are affecting, how many recovered, how many deaths, and so on. Those are all also data. Okay. Now here we'll see how these all done in statistics. Okay. First one, what it is? Collection. Okay. Collection of data. How it is done? Okay. Collection is done in many ways. What they are? See, first one, I can collect data by conducting surveys, okay, through questionnaires. Questionnaires means nothing but we have a form in which we will write, or else we have some questions based on the data which we want. We will give them and they will give the answers by writing in this. Okay, those type of pamphlets or whatever it may be, call it as questionnaires. Okay, surveys. Next, observation. We can also collect data by observing many things, right? And newspapers and so on. These are many ways to collect the data. Okay, and organization or second one it is representation. We call it as representation or organization, whatever it may be. Representation of data. This is the main thing. Why we are collecting the data? We are collecting the data so that in order to get results from the data, right? So for getting suitable results, we have to represent the data in a suitable format. Okay, how we can represent the data? Okay, we can represent in the form of tables and also graphs. Graphical representation of data is there and tabular representation of data is there. Next, last one, it is analyzation or interpretation. What it is? Analyzation of data or interpretation of data. Okay, what is analyzation here? Analyzation means we have to study the data in which we are represented in the form of tables or whatever it may be. Okay, if we see, for example, I'm taking one graph from a cricket match. Okay, suppose from it is here we are representing the dead here overs like this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and here scores will be there from 0 to 300 or 350 like that. Okay, and graph will be like this. Sorry, it is not for each and every over, so it will be increasing only. Okay, like this. Suppose for 50 overs the total score is 320 like this. Okay, nothing but what this shows, after array representing the data in the form of graph, we can study where from which over to which over it is gradually increasing. Suppose if you see here, the score is increasing gradually, whereas in this area from 15 overs to nearly 35 overs, the score is does not increase much more. So by this we can analyze the data based on which we want a result. Okay, so there are many ways of analyzation here. Okay, based on first whether we want to find who scored more or which areas in which overs they scored more like that. This is an example of cricket match. If you take another one, we have more number of examples. Okay, these are the main things about statistics. Okay, the world, each and everything is revolving around statistics. Okay, in each and every area we have data and we should analyze the data to get the result. Okay, suppose if you take your class or if you take yourself, okay, based on the marks you got in unit test 2, half yearly and annually, you can analyze how you are performing, whether you increase or you are decreasing your marks or you are constant throughout the year and so on. Okay, not only in your field, in each and every field, statistics has a lot of importance. Okay, if you take industries into example, okay, what will happen in industries? They have to prepare raw materials. Okay, suppose I have one industry. Okay, they have to prepare raw materials. How they will prepare raw materials? How they will prepare? Based on the previous year's demand or how the stock is getting sold and so on. So each and every place, statistics plays an important role. Clear? Now, before going to statistics, okay, we have to know some basic concepts of statistics. Okay, what are the basic concepts in statistics? First one, it is variable. What it is? A variable. Okay, what is a variable? See, as you have the same variable in geometry, right? Okay, geometry have variables. There we call it as x, y, z, and so on. These are variables, the things which can vary. In the same way, here also the quantity which varies from one individual to another individual. From one individual to another individual is called a variable. Nothing but if I take two students into consideration, for example, if you take height, weight, their age, anything, those quantities, they are different from one to one, right? So these type of quantities we call it as variables in statistics. Okay, not only height, weight, age, color, whatever it may be. Okay, if it changes from one individual to another individual, then you call those type of quantities as variables. Okay, next, second, in these variables you have two types. What they are? In these variables you have two types of variables. Okay, one is continuous variable and discrete variable. Okay, continuous and discrete. Okay, what is continuous and what is discrete? Okay, see, If you see continuous variable, nothing but in the name itself it has continuous, nothing but it can take any value like points. Suppose if I take height into consideration, okay, you can tell how much height is means you can tell 5.9 inch, 5.9 feet, 6.2, 4.9, or else 4, 5, 6, and so on. Nothing but it can take integer numbers or also decimal points. Okay, nothing but the variable which can take any number or any value, that we call it as continuous variable. Next, discrete variable, nothing but it cannot take decimal values. Okay, so if you take example, number of students in a class, number of students in a class, or sizes, like if you take suicide, okay, suicide, such, whatever it may be, you cannot get in points, right? Number of students means you can tell there are 10 students, 20, 30, or 22, like that, but you cannot tell there are 22.2 students, 22.3 students, like that, right? So this is a discrete variable. Okay, based on the values it can take, we are dividing the variables into two types, continuous and discrete. If it can take decimal values, then those type of variables are called continuous. If it cannot take decimal values, nothing but only numbers, natural numbers, then you can call it as a discrete variable. Okay, next, after this variables we have to know what are data. Okay, second one, what it is? Data. Data is nothing but information, but here there is a lot of difference between data and information. Okay, here in general, what I can tell means data is nothing but a collection of numerical facts. Numerical facts in statistics, we call data as it is nothing but a collection of numerical facts or collection of raw facts from directly from the source, nothing but from whom we have to take, we can collect from that. Okay, this type of data we call it as, sorry, this is called data. Okay, here in data we have so many types. Okay, what it is? First one, raw data. Raw is nothing but it is not processed or it is not studied till. So after collecting directly, if you write it directly as it is, then you call the data as raw. Raw is nothing but it is not processed yet. Okay, like if I ask marks of your class students, what will like? You will be telling your marks and I will be noting, right? 25, 23, 24, 19, 16, like this, these are the marks. Yeah, I have been collecting and I am writing this data. It is not processed. Okay, so this type of data is called as raw. Raw is nothing but it is not processed. Okay, it is not undergone to study. Okay, next, if this data is arranged in an order, okay, then we call that as array data. What it is? Array data. Array data is nothing but if the data is arranged in ascending or descending order, then this type of data call it as array data. Okay, if like this, if I want to arrange this data, how can I write? Ascending order 16, next 19, 23, 24, and 25. This arranged, right? So this data we can call it as array data. In this chapter, you will learn about the representation of data, how we can represent the data. Okay, here what I told, how many ways you can represent the data? You can represent the data in any number of ways. First, here I am telling tables and graphs. Okay, and how we can represent with the help of tables. Okay, and how we can represent with the help of graphs. Okay. In tables, if you represent the data in the form of tables, those tables we call it as frequency distribution table. What it is? Frequency distribution table. The table which we use to represent the data is called frequency distribution table. You all know how it will be. Okay, like here we will be having observations or class intervals and so on. Here we will be having frequencies. You know what is frequency? Frequency is nothing but the number of times a particular observation is repeated in the data. Suppose if it is like this 2, 3, 4. Here 5, 3, 1. Nothing but in that data 2 is repeated 5 times, 3 is repeated 3 times, and 4 is repeated 1 time, and so on. And if you take graphs into consideration, you have many type of graphs like pie graphs, bar graphs, histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, okay, and so on. We'll be having these many types, okay, pie chart, okay. So here in the first exercise, let us see how to represent the data in the form of table, okay. Let us learn about table. Now see in tables how many types we have, okay. In tables we have first one ungrouped frequency distribution, and grouped frequency distribution. What they are? Ungrouped and grouped frequency distributions. Okay, here again ungrouped frequency distribution, nothing but the observations are not grouped here, whereas here the observations are grouped. Suppose like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I am taking the data here. Okay, so it is not visible here. So I am writing somewhat down. Okay, wait. I am taking the data, raw data or array data 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Suppose I am taking the example of this data. Okay. How to write ungrouped frequency distribution and grouped frequency distribution. Okay. Here in ungrouped frequency distribution, suppose I want to write ungrouped frequency distribution means here I am writing the observations and frequency. Okay, or you can represent the observation with the help of x. What it is? First one 1. How many times it is repeated? 2 times. So I am writing 2. Or else we can use tally marks. Okay, you all know what are tally marks? By using tally marks we can count the frequency, right? Tally mark and frequency. So 1, 2 times. Okay, 2. How many? 2. So 2, 2. Again 3, 3. So like this, if you represent like this, okay, for each and every observation the frequency is repeated. So this type of data we call it as ungrouped frequency. Whereas in grouped frequency distribution we are grouping the observations in the form of some intervals. Those intervals we call it as class intervals. What they are? Class intervals. Okay, again in this group distributions we can divide into 2 types. What they are? First one inclusive classes. What they are? Inclusive classes and exclusive classes. Okay, so the classes are like this. Suppose see here what this is. This is class intervals, tally marks and frequency. I am writing the class intervals here. I am taking some class intervals like 0 to 3, 4 to 7, okay, 7 to 10, like that, sorry, 8 to 11, whatever it may be. Okay, if I am taking like this, and see here the already you know what is class interval. In this class interval 0 to 3 class interval, 0 is the lower limit and 3 is upper limit, right? You already learned in 8th class. So if the upper limit of one class is not equal to lower limit of next class, then this type of classes, these two are different. Okay, this type of classes we call it as inclusive class. Whereas if I group the data like this, okay, class interval, tally marks, frequency, 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, like this. Okay, if I group like this, nothing but these two are same, these two are same. Okay, then this type of data we call it as exclusive class, and later on we can write how many are there. So suppose 0 to 3, 0 and 3, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will write 6, and we will here we will get frequency as 6. Next 4 to 7, 4, 5, 6, 5. Total 7 are there. So we will write like this. According to this, we will write frequency. But whereas here, what is the difference between inclusive class and exclusive class? Let us see the main difference between inclusive class and exclusive class. As in the name itself, it is there. What it is? Inclusive. Inclusive. It is exclusive. Nothing but, see, I am writing that difference here. See, the classes are like this: 0 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 11, like this. Whereas in exclusive, 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12. Suppose these are the classes. Okay, what is the difference here? Here, 3 is included in this class only. Okay, whereas if you take 4, observation 4 will not include in this class. Okay, but it is included in the next class. Okay, nothing but it is excluded. Okay, so this type of classes we call it as exclusive, this is inclusive. Okay, the upper limit is included in the same class, whereas here the upper limit is not included in the class. Now see how to convert inclusive class or inclusive distribution into exclusive distribution. Okay, how to convert? What is the need to convert inclusive into exclusive? Okay, as if you see histogram or graphs, whatever it may be, you will get continuously, right? No gap will be there, right? Or else if you take this one, what it is bar graph, it is easy to study about different types of data. But if it is continuous like same number, we have to represent the data in continuous way. If you take polygon, we will get like this. Okay, this must be in continuous form. So whenever it is uncontinuous data, we have to convert the data into continuous so that it is easy to study the data. Okay, so how to convert inclusive to exclusive? See, suppose I am taking the class intervals inclusive 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, like this. Suppose these are the inclusive class intervals. Okay, and I want to convert this into exclusive class intervals. What I have to do? Okay, see, it is very simple to convert inclusive to exclusive. What you have to do? First, you have to see the difference between upper limit of first class and lower limit of the next class. What is the difference between 5 to 6? It is 1, right? So what we have to do means we have to make it into 2 equal halves. Nothing but 1 by 2 equal to 0.5. This 0.5 we have to subtract to the, where is red pen? We have to subtract 0.5 to lower limit and we have to add to upper limit. For lower limit, you have to subtract. For upper limit, you have to add. Okay. So what it will become? 1 minus 0.5. What will you get? 0.5. 5 plus 0.5. 5.5. Again, next one. Minus 0.5 and plus 0.6 minus 0.5. It is 5.5. So again 10.5. Like this. Now this becomes exclusive. Inclusive class became exclusive as these two are same. Again you will get 10.5 and 15.5. 15.5 to 20.5. So this inclusive class become exclusive class. This we call it as adjustment. What it is? Adjustment. We are adjusting these classes. Okay, and this 0.5 call it as adjustment factor. Okay, now you have seen right how to convert inclusive to exclusive. Now let us see about class size and class marks. Okay, class size and class marks or class marks. Okay, what it is? Class size is nothing but the length of the class. But you have to consider one thing. For inclusive class, you cannot find class size. You have to find the class size only after converting this to inclusive. Here, after converting the classes, these classes, we call it these limits, we call it as actual limits. What they are? Actual limits. Okay, this is lower limit, this is our upper limit. But after adjusting, we call it as actual lower limit and actual upper limit. Okay, so class size is nothing but the difference between actual upper limit, and actual lower limit. Okay, actual upper limit and actual lower limit. Okay, for this class, the length of the class is nothing but 5.5 minus 0.5. 5.5 minus 0.5. It is 5. Okay, you may ask, sir, why you are not supposed to subtract 1 from 5? See here, if you subtract 5 minus 1, how much you got? You got 4. But if you see actual length of this class, how many observations are included in this class? 1 is included, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is the length of this class? It is 5. So whenever we have to find the length of this class, we have to subtract actual limits, but not the normal limits. Okay, this is inclusive, so these are not the normal limits. When it is like this, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, like this, then we can subtract 5 minus 1, it is 4. As 5 is not included here, 5 is not included in this class, right? So what is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 observations, nothing but length is 4. So okay, clear or not? Whenever you are finding class size, you have to subtract, we have to find difference between actual limits. And here, class mark is nothing but upper limit plus lower limit by 2. We are finding the midpoint of a particular class. What is present in the exact midpoint of that class? So you can find upper limit plus, the formula is for finding class mark is upper limit plus lower limit by 2. This you can tell as mid value. Class mark or mid value. Mid value class mark is nothing but exact middle value of that particular class. Okay, you can do normal limits or to actual limits, both will get same. If you take normal limits, what will get? 5 plus 1 by 2, nothing but 6 by 2, you will get 3. If you take actual limits, 0.5 plus 5.5 by 2, what you will get? 6 by 2, again you got 3. So for finding class marks, you can take any limits, but whereas to find class size, you have to take actual limits only. What are actual limits? After converting inclusive to exclusive, the limits which you got, those limits are called actual limits. Now let us see what is cumulative frequency. Okay, Normal frequency, you know, frequency is nothing but how many observations fall in that particular class, or how many observations are repeated, how many number of times a observation is repeated. Okay, so suppose this is one frequency distribution table. Okay, in 20 to 20 we have 5 observations, 20 to 30 we have 10, 30 to 40 we have 12, and 40 to 50 we have 8. Now cumulative frequency distribution. In general, in your ninth class, if they are telling about cumulative frequency, you have to consider it as less than cumulative frequency. What it is? Less than cumulative frequency. There are two types. One is less than cumulative frequency and greater than cumulative frequency. But here in your ninth class, if they are talking about cumulative frequency, is nothing but less than cumulative frequency. We will see what is cumulative now. Cumulative frequency is nothing but how many observations fall below that particular observation. Okay. Suppose if I want to write cumulative frequencies for this table, okay, for this class, I have to take the upper limit. So below 20, how many observations are there? Only 5. 10 to 25 observations is nothing but all are below 20, right? So 5 observations are there. Now for the second class, I want to write cumulative frequency means I have to write how many observations are there below 20, less than 30. Okay, so less than 30 means from 20 to 30 there are 10. They are all less than 30. But if you take 10 to 20 there are 5. These observations are also less than 30, right? So what you have to do? You have to add all the previous. So 5 plus 10, it is 15 observations. So cumulative frequency of this class is 15. Again, less than 40 is nothing but you have to add all these, or else simply you can add all these or you can add these two. Why? Because already these two added you wrote here. Again you can add these two. What will you get? 27. Again, less than 30 means nothing but you have to add all these or you can add these two. 27 plus 8, 35. So this is the cumulative frequency. Or here sometimes they will give like this also. This is less than 20, less than 30, less than 40, less than 50. Nothing but here there are 5 observations which are less than 20 and 15 observations which are less than 30, 27 observations are less than 40 and 35 observations are less than 40. And one more thing, if you don't know frequency and if they give cumulative frequency, what will do? You cannot find frequency, you can find. How? As we know, below 50, that means from 50, below 50, there are total 35. Okay. And below 40, there are total 27. Okay. Nothing but the difference between these two is nothing but how many observations are there from 40 to 50. So the difference between these two you have to write it here. 30 minus 35 minus 27, 8. Again 27 minus 15 it is 12. 15 minus 5 it is 10. This you will get here only. Okay, like this. We have to go reverse. If they give cumulative frequency, you can write frequency. Okay, this is less than. In the same way, if you want to know about greater than cumulative frequency, it is reverse. Okay, you have to add from remaining. Here we will get 8, 12 plus 8, 20, 20 plus 10, 30. Nothing but more than 10, there are 35. More than 20, there are 30. More than 30, there are 20, like this. Okay, this is greater than cumulative frequency. But in your ninth class, they won't talk about greater than cumulative frequency. Okay, they talk about cumulative frequency, nothing but they are talking about less than cumulative frequency only. Clear? Up to here, you learned about tables. How you can represent the data in the form of tables, and you learned about different notations like what are class mass, class size, class limit, okay, cumulative frequency, everything. Clear?